We're back. Hello.
Hi.
Tell us who you are and tell us a little bit about your project.
So I'm Laura. My game is called Ellies Spirit, and it's a choice-based visual novel to teach elementary and middle school kids about the environment. Yeah, I don't know.
Tell us what the... Sorry, go ahead. No. I was going to ask about the impetus for the project.
So like what inspired it?
Yes.
Yeah. So originally I knew that I didn't necessarily want to do a traditional game. I was really interested in doing something with 2D, so I looked into like graphic novels, and then I wanted to do something also that had more of an impact on like real world things, and I figured that the environment was a good place to start with that. And then the project kind of grew from that to be something educational, and we figured that incorporating choices in the game really made a lot of sense in that it would really drive home like the impact that you can have and the changes that you can make.
So this, the team working with you, it seems
Yes.
like you had a pretty decently sized team working on the project with you.
Yeah.
Did that allow you to grow in scope beyond, or were you basically directing the project?
Yeah, I ended up doing a lot of the directing and the layouts and concept art. That was most of my job, and like leading meetings and everything like that. And our scope did grow a lot because we did have these writers come on and artists come on to help with the paintings and things. But it grew a little bit out of control since we had like 5 different locations that the characters were traveling to, and that's a lot of different paintings, especially when everything's 2D, so like everything has to be drawn out individually.
And I want to ask on that, raise your hand if you've ever been a part of a project that has scoped out of control.
Oh, I never have. No.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
perfect. There's never a project that does not.
Yeah.
So how many locations? You said 5. How many drawings per location?
It varied location to location. A lot of the backgrounds were like pretty big. It was huge. So I'm trying to remember. So we start in Hawaii, and then we go to California, the Amazon rainforest, and Greenland, and then there's also like a spirit realm in between. So each of those areas probably had like, I'm trying to think, it was like 6 backgrounds or something like that.
Okay, hold on. So then now I have to
Yeah.
ask what the, going aside from the motivations, but what were the visual and tonal inspirations in terms of other media that decided you to pursue this project?
So initially we looked at a lot of like graphic novels, and the character design was inspired largely by comics like the Peanuts and children's books too, because we figured like since we were going to be drawing these characters so many times, we should keep the design more simple. And then when we were looking at the backgrounds, we looked at a lot of Miyazaki work because we wanted them to really pop out and be very like visually stunning since it was about the environment. So yeah.
That's very cool. One of the nice things about games is that when you're trying to teach these concepts to somebody like environmentalism, you can really make them feel the consequence of choice.
Yeah.
Is there a sense of that in the game, a sense of like, well, I made this choice and now this impact has happened on the environment, or that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So our writers actually helped us a lot with that. Originally it was just more arbitrary choices, but then they came on and they came up with this idea that in each location where you are, you can make decisions throughout, like are you going to help evacuate people from the wildfire, or are you just going to look for the thing that you lost? And if they choose to help out, then they'll be shown a vision of positive change. And if they choose not to help out, then they'll be shown a vision of destruction at the end. So there's that, and then at the very end of the game, you're also given like kind of a final test where you talk to these spirits in the spirit realm, and they like evaluate whether or not you help, basically, and whether humanity is like worth saving. Yeah.
Interesting.
So it seems like, judging from the sheet we have here that describes the team members, there's a lot of art, a lot of writing heavy. Did you guys run into tech surprises along the way, or was it all pretty straightforward and you were leaning on your strengths, I guess, as a team? And was that an influencer in why you decided to go this route?
So we did run in, the tech ended up changing a few times. So initially we were going to do more of a graphic novel style, and then when we decided we were going to do the choices, we were looking into using RenPy. So we had only one tech person really working on it. But it was pretty easy, I think, to like implement the different things. But we ended up changing to Adobe Animate, and we were trying to do it in there, and then that crashed. So then we went to RenPy, and there was a lot of changes. So there were some tech surprises, I'd say.
That sounds also pretty much like the industry.
Yeah, we were hoping to get more interactive elements, especially since it is for kids. We wanted to keep them engaged, but we didn't really get to that either because scope.
You had mentioned earlier that since you were aiming this at middle school kids, you kept you eventually kept the theme light. Can you talk a little bit about the darker side of where you want? You explore a bunch of stuff in games.
Yeah. Initially, we were thinking about like making the ending possibly a lot more cataclysmic, where you basically show the world blowing up. Like, there's a lot of different. I don't remember exactly what we looked at, but there was a lot of different reference material where like everything just basically explodes at the end, and the spirits decide humanity's not worth saving. But since it was a younger audience, we kind of went with a more light, like if you make a choice not to help, they just like push you in the right direction and say maybe you should try this instead.
Did you get to throw it in front of a bunch of kids and see what they think of it?
We didn't have the opportunity actually because of the IRB process kind of got a little tricky with that. We did test it with a few classes at school here, but
What's the reception been?
people felt that like the art obviously is still in production, so we got some feedback about that, but generally people felt that the message and throughout the story was driving home what we wanted it to, and really teaching people about different ways to help and making them feel more empowered. There was a lot of feedback too about making it more interactive, which is something we really hope to do in the
When you
future.
say interactive, how do you mean?
Like, for example, just being able to actually interactively like pick up litter on the beach instead of just saying you're going to pick up the litter in like a choice box. Like having that kind of like little mini games or something like that throughout. Yeah.
Right, rather than it being just straight.
Like yeah.
So given you said, sorry, did I?
No.
You said that you ran out of time to get a lot of the art in at the level that you wanted. Is art the only thing that you would do if you were to take this project further, or would you also explore art and the interactivity, or was the interactivity side of it just kind of something that kind of came and went, and you guys have kind of abandoned that road fully?
I think
or would you try and go back down that road with more time?
I would definitely go down that road with more time. I think it would be a lot more effective, especially since it is for like a younger audience, to have it be more engaging.
If you had to make a choice between that and larger scope, what would you choose? Because those are the kind of questions you frequently have to hit.
I would definitely, if I were to redo it, make it smaller scope and more interactive, more polished art, because it did get very large.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the reason I asked the question.
We got 1 minute left.
1 minute. I mean, do you want to wrap up where you think, what do you want to do with this project? Where do you think it's going to go? Do you want to continue working on it? Do you want to?
Yeah, I'd love to continue working on it and just like having a lot more time to just like go in and do the paintings to the level that they should be, really. Adding more animations so that it's like more engaging again, and then potentially trying to get more of that interactivity, which might be a little bit hard since we're all graduating, so getting together with everyone might be difficult, but
That's very neat. Well, thanks
Thank you very much
for
for
talking about this.
thank you.